Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Ty Bankrupt joined once again by Jake.
Oh, what's going on, y'all?
And we're getting the camera set up still. Today's video is me taking on Jake. Jake has brought us back Super Fu, and I've brought out Baba and Grandpa Gohan. Like always, just buttons. Feel free to click them there for a reason. Let's get into this. So, yeah, we've had I know we got your profile, and I think, do we have you playing on the channel before?
Yeah, I think there might be another video of me playing against Fluff at one point, but here we are today. I've been really enjoying this deck. It's got some unique mechanics, like if you've seen it before, that really no other deck in the game really has, and I think that puts it maybe it might not be the most powerful deck in the meta, but it puts it at a unique position and lets it do a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah. This is the, I think, second match I played with Baba. And really my first match was like me and my opponent only played halfway through because I showed up to the shop late this day, and I just kind of played. I'm pretty much playing the buys. Whoever got the buy, I'm playing them. So we didn't have to like change anything and whatnot. But the way Baba's deck works, it does a lot of like more or less thinning, which is great. So the palace itself gets played as soon as you put the leader in the leader area. It has an activate main where if you place one of the four key cards, which is Dracoman, Saki-san, Bandage, and Spike, you reveal them, put them in the bottom of your deck. You can draw one card, but that serves as two things. First one is that it gives you a target in the deck, so when you play part of the chain, you're immediately getting added to your hand. So the leader itself and a couple other cards in the deck will allow me to look at my opponent's cards, either 2 to 3 cards sometimes, or 1 depending on if I'm using the one drop Baba. And that way I know what's there. And then I play the engine, which then I guess a number. If the card on top of the deck has the engine cost number I guessed, I get to add a card from my deck to my hand. In this case, I play Dracoman. I get to add Saki-san to my hand. And then the field card will also pull a Dracoman or the card that I play underneath it. So you're more or less getting 2 cards removed from the deck at a time, which is kind of great.
It's a really unique engine for this game where like it kind of like takes me back to the days of Obuni where you like care about what's on top of your opponent's deck. And then also it's got like kind of a deck thinning element that yellow decks sometimes can need because they're really like teched out and have a lot of like one ofs and two ofs as far as extra cards go. But I think it's really interesting the way this deck works out, where my leader is going to be looking at the top 5 for specific things, and you can see what options I'm going to have, but you may not actually be able to interact with that in any way. So, like, you kind of get a preview of what I have access to, but you sometimes can't really do anything do anything about me being able to get it.
So your deck is one of those 2 decks. At first, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had the promos, because the promo has the ability to activate main, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, and I can either leave it there or put it to the bottom of their deck. Fun fact, the set Baba also has that same effect. The only difference between the promo and the set Baba is that the promo will draw you a card on play, and the set Baba will do one of 2 things. You play it, and then you can use its first activate main to put in your drop, and then you get to pull a card from your... you either get to play a Dracoman to the field from your deck, or you pull a Crystal Gazing to your hand from your deck. I just misread that and didn't realize it had the ability to bond a card, or I would definitely have side up in our matchup for those Babas, and that way I could have just peeked top card if I didn't want you to have it put in the bottom of your deck. Grant, like you said, you will still shuffle, but it wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to just grab it and chuck it into the Z deck for free.
So here I'm just getting set up once again. I get to play. Also, the Baba's engine was great is that the more cards that are underneath the field card, the cheaper these cards become. And like I said, this is primarily really the second match I played with this deck. There's a permanent on this 2-drop, which we will ignore, not intentionally, just because I just misread or I overlooked it. It has 2 permanents, but the second permanent is that it cannot be attacked. I don't remember if you pop it with a skill or if you do attack it, but somehow this card will disappear from my board.
Yeah. Fu does have a lot of really good removal, so there's a chance that it just kind of gets warped at some point.
And there, I did out the order, so I just put a spike to guarantee a spike being pulled from my deck when I played the bandage afterwards.
Yeah, sometimes this decks like this can be quite good, where you're like playing pieces to find other pieces and like tucking cards back in to like enable them to be used later. But I kind of got the impression from this matchup that this engine is a little bit bloated. Like maybe there's too many pieces that all kind of have to work together at once to get max value. Would you like agree with that assessment?
So I can agree with that, and I think that's why it pulls so many cards out of the deck. Because I feel like every match I played, the cards I typically would be drawing into most of the time were just the good yellow cards in my deck, because I'm pulling out all the other stuff. But at the same time, once you get to about midway through the game, you stop pulling as much cards because like you can't have more than one of the cards under the field. So like I can't have two Dracomans under my field card. I can only have one of each card. So like if I'm after practically turn 3 on some turns, if I'm trying to go super aggro, I've established all the cards underneath my field card, and from this point on, if I play another card, I can't put another card underneath my field. Also, I can only have one of each card in the field per the field cards. I think permanent.
So the clunkiness doesn't necessarily come from the amount of pieces of the engine, but the way the engine ends up working once it's in your hand or on the table.
Yeah, but I still recommend
That's interesting.
playing this as a 4 of, because that's the only way you can maximize like. And it sucks. Like I would like to play some of these at 3 ofs, but you want to see these pieces. You need to see these pieces. That way you can pull the other pieces out of the deck.
Yeah, it looks like that did get warped off
Yeah.
of that Fu Supreme Intellect there.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how we removed it. I just know we did remove it at some point.
Yeah. So now that I've got Fu's Lab in play, my 15k Fus that I've been playing throughout the game can actually start to swing. I can reload cards underneath of my 1-drop here to play more of my servant guys out. I'm in a really good position. I've managed to build a board without tapping out. Like if you are playing Fu, this is kind of like the position you really are looking to be in around turn 3. I feel like I've got a pretty decent sized hand as well.
Yeah.
For life awakened, you can activate your leader effect. On activate battle, you have multiple targets to do so. Um, the good thing about yellow is they're always strong on the crackback, and they are always able to interact with you, sometimes for no energy. So we see that here with the Frieza token.
And real quick, I know I could have awakened at 5 life, and then possibly, and you may not have comboed because I was at 10k, and I could have just awakened and then combo that card there and then immediately take the life. But you only had one more attacking card afterwards, so I felt like it was fine. Unless you wanted to tap out, like but you I didn't feel like you wanted to.
No, definitely not. And like that's part of the game of Dragon Ball is the dance you have to do of you want access to those cards in your life, but you need at least one there so you don't lose the game. So uh sometimes you might take a damage that you could otherwise avoid because it doesn't really like endanger you or hinder your game plan at all.
And now that you've awakened, you have a really fun ability you could do now, which is just once per turn you move the target of the attack. And I know there's one point in our match, I can't remember exactly what turn it was. I'm like, I won't combo because you're just gonna move the attack to somewhere else.
Yeah,
So
it's
oh,
yeah, it's
we talked about your super combos too.
yeah. I still need to find my Vegetas, man. I don't know where they are.
And here, since you comboed a card, I like, oh wait, their next card's a 2-drop in. I think the first two were 2-drops. But that's also a tricky part about this deck. Like, if you have a way to, like, during your opponent's step to manipulate your own deck, it could totally mess this deck up. And that's why, Crystal Gazing's a thing. Activate battle, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. That way you know it's on top. So if you somehow were to have, like, shuffled it between my attacks using some form of effect, I could still peek at your deck during my turn, like during like my attack step and stuff like that.
Yeah, they put a lot of design effort into making sure that you're actually able to get the effects off, which I appreciate with Baba.
So I'm in a situation where I have 2 open energy. I'm trying to figure out like what's the best steps here. I do pay 1 to go into Spike, and now if I wanted to play Spike, because the extra card, it's cost 1 less. And what's great about that card is that if one of my battle cards is, I think, KO'd or removed from the battle by a skill, it will proc its effect, which then I can just pop one of your cards. But that would involve me tapping out for it, though.
Yeah, it's dangerous to do even in yellow.
And it's one of those things like, is it where so many things like, like Mecha Frieza costs 1 energy, Sin's 2 energy, Vegeto's still 1 energy. Like, those cards still cost 8 energy, but they're great ways of just slowing your opponent down. And if I tap out, what I'm relying on now is, do I have another Frieza's Reinforced Army to stop 2 attacks, and then can I combo with the rest attacks? Food plays really big battle cards. And you can see here, I decided to leave my energy open because I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit.
You can see here, I do have a mecha in my hand. Like, it's right there.
So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the Cumber here.
Yeah, it's really good because it's just the fact that you have 4 energy.
Yeah, and knowing the way that yellow plays, I kind of want to try and threaten a big attack before I spend a ton of energy, and this Cumber does that perfectly.
Yeah, for 1 energy, it's a 30k that, right? 30k you need? No, 25, but you could give it Servant, right?
It's a 25, but you can give it Servant with this Foo right here that I played. That's on Activate Battle, so you can hold it until one of your Cumbers without Servant gets in, and then give it a little boost. Also, on attack, there is a auto where you can remove the card underneath it to grant it double strike. Here I'm tapping a Z extra card, trying to figure out exactly how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this Cumber is a really good investment for 1 energy, and you can see because I played that Fu Assault Dominator, I was able to play an extra copy. They're not limit 1 or unique or anything like that. So
yeah, it's really good. And here I was going to try to use the Grandpa Gohan to get, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's only free if I have a Goku on board. That's not a grade 8, which I don't even have a Goku on board right now. So I had to hold off on doing that. And what's even funnier is that I haven't played Yellow in such a long time. I was like, oh yeah, I could play Vegito earlier. And I was like, oh wait, no, it still costs 1 energy to play Vegito.
yeah, and here we're just playing more of those Jet Black Hatreds. I think the card is called Jet Black Cruelty, something like that.
Just one of the 6 drops.
Yeah, to get you to warp cards out of your hand. Because yeah, even though I'm applying a lot of pressure this turn, I'm still underneath Robotic Riposte, so I am gonna have to like tap things down every time I swing.
Yeah, but
so
your cards are still like really beefy cards. Like, even without the Servant, in this case, you give this one Servant, and I'm like, okay, it's single right. I think I ended up taking this hit just because like I don't have a lot to combo here, and if I were to combo out of it, I didn't have no hand, and there's no crackback at that point.
yeah. And the fact that I can't deal 2 to you, I've only got 1 more attack, and I think I just go into your battle card here. Yeah.
Yeah, just clear out the battle card. That way there's not a threat there. And now if I want to do anything, I had to start from scratch.
Yeah, and then I'll just go ahead and overlord that guy away.
So here, ideally, I just once again set up the Baba, get to peek at cards, and I want to play Goku this turn. Goku only costs me 1 energy because I have 4 cards underneath my field card, which is fantastic. 1 energy for a decent, I think, a 25k battle card, which has barrier and I think unique. But what makes this deck so so good is that this Goku mixed with the Grandpa Gohan. Also, this auto is on attack, not on play, and that's my bad. Every other card is when this card's play, the auto procs. So I just got this one mixed up. And truth be told, I know you have a certain card in your hand. If I chose to attack first, which I wouldn't have because I want Grandpa Gohan on board, this does kind of change things up a little bit. I kind of want to go over it. So Grandpa Gohan gives Goku dual attack, which means now he can attack twice. And the leader gives Grandpa Gohan double strike, which he already has dual attack. So innately, this is a really powerful card. I think in hindsight, if I swing with Goku, you would have procced Petrification and onto Grandpa instead because it would have been a dual attack double strike.
Oh yeah.
But because of this order we did this, you did choose Goku in this situation. So like I said, you shouldn't have lost your battle card. Just kind of wanted to go over that. That's my bad on just mixing all the autos up.
Yeah, and like you said, it could have if you had attacked in a different order, it could have gone a different way. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and switch the attack target here.
Yeah, and then you're using the activate battle on Fu, which gives it servant. So now once it's high enough. And like this was a situation where I was talking about like I almost comboed and I'm like, wait, you're just gonna switch the target because you haven't used that effect yet. No combo.
Yeah, and being able to pump one of your guys. Here we're just making sure. Like I thought I still had servant, but the way it ends up working is that I do get to untap here.
And Grandpa Gohan will be disappearing in a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, this is not looking good for me right now.
Just a ton of pressure. Fu is one of those decks that if you don't keep its board as clean as possible, it's just going to pretty much continually chain play attackers and just roll over you. Being a black deck, it's not the strongest on defense. And I've also found that in like really prolonged games, it can end up being a little bit weak just because there's like so many strong board clears in colors like blue and stuff right now. But I really think in that turn 5 to turn 6 range, the deck ends up being really potent.
Yeah. And I will say, there was a very fun card that I forgot to put in my sideboard that was Flying Nimbus. So, like, I'm going into this match with no Flying Nimbus in my deck, just relying on the floodgates to do something. And as we saw last turn, it didn't do much.
Yeah, Nimbus would be really nice here considering all the dual attackers and stuff. Oh, Mataido's not bad either.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do what I can to just minimize whatever set effect. And here I'm double checking that I get to choose a card.
Yeah, it just has to have greater energy than what I've got.
But Fu probably still would have been a better option here.
Yeah.
And
I think that was Jimmy's hand being like, you still get to play your Cumber. Like even though he got counterplayed, like.
Here, I'm just going to peek at your hand, just your deck one last time before I give the game up to you.
Yeah.
With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. That was today's matchup. Hope you all enjoyed. Keep in mind, there's buttons, links, check them out. Bye.